Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 25th of June 2025 and looks like the global chaos between Israel and Iran as well as the United States of America is definitely down and you would be knowing by now that they have agreed for a ceasefire and thankfully because of that there is a direct impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now look guys, when you talk about Bitcoin's innovation as such, it was created so that such situations do not have any impact in it. Maybe Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of separation of money and the state one day will turn out to be in fruition and then we can confidently state that there is separation of money and the state, isn't it? And I do think it might take at least a couple of decades for that thing to happen. Now in today's episode guys, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover. Now the first news is from the state of Arizona guys, and they have passed a reserve bill, but this bill is really interesting guys. What it does is it allows the state of Arizona to have a Bitcoin reserve that will be actually funded by seized cryptocurrencies. This, to be honest, is a genius move, isn't it? So from a state level, you're actually not spending anything. Rather, whatever notorious cryptocurrencies that you have seized, you will be converting that into Bitcoin. Definitely an interesting move in my honest opinion. Now the second news guys is more to do with woke ideologies and Wall Street Journal guys. They have actually published an article and what that article actually states that big US banks like JP Morgan and Citigroup, they are currently facing backlash because they are not offering banking services due to political ideologies. This, to be honest, is a massive no, isn't it? And I very specifically remember when President Donald Trump was elected, he did openly call out some of the CEOs of the bank and he told them that he should not be doing this. Now look guys, I definitely 100% agree with President Donald Trump. So what I'll do guys in today's episode, I'll go ahead and discuss what is the drama that is done by JP Morgan Chase Bank, Citigroup as well as other bank, and what role potentially can Bitcoin play into this. So let me know what are your thoughts regarding it. Now the next news guys is a partnership news, and I definitely covered this roughly around 2 months ago, but looks like there is a really interesting update to this, and Chainlink Labs guys, they have partnered with MasterCard and looks like they want to enable billions of cardholders to buy cryptocurrency directly, and more importantly guys, this will be done on chain as well. So in today's episode, I'll go ahead and give out more information regarding this. Now the final news guys today has to do with an update regarding WazirX Exchange, and more than a year ago guys, they did actually suffer one of the biggest taxes in it, and unfortunately it is the customers who have lost a lot of money from it. But we do have some really interesting update, and unfortunately looks like the customers may not be happy about it, but nonetheless guys, if you are someone who's affected by it, you definitely need to go ahead and check out your emails and communications from them. Now we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover guys in today's episode, and like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Date series, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news has to do with DMCC signing a strategic memorandum of understanding, but they have signed it with Aqua Index and they want to support the first water-backed digital token. Really interesting idea, isn't it? Now me personally, I'm not a fan of this particular news as such, but nonetheless in today's episode, I'll go ahead and give out more information regarding this. Now the second news guys is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia guys, via the Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority, they have joined the OECD recommendation on artificial intelligence. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what OECD is all about and how many members are actually part of this association. So we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover guys in today's episode. Let's kickstart with it right away. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, as you're taking care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now before the unnecessary war guys, the market sentiment wasn't great, but looks like President Donald Trump wants peace, and he wants peace through strength. And according to me guys, his move definitely makes a lot of sense, because nuclear weapons is definitely not great for the world, isn't it? Now look guys, I don't want to get into politics as such, but if you actually listen to President Donald Trump's interview regarding Iran having nuclear weapons, for almost 60 days guys, he was consistently negotiating with them, and the rule was pretty clear. Iran cannot have any nuclear weapons. Now, based on my understanding, the leaders from Iran, they were trying to delay the process, but looks like President Donald Trump had enough, and he decided to completely stop Iran from creating nuclear weapons. And his ideology is peace through strength, and whether we like it or not, guys, that ideology does make a lot of sense, isn't it? Now, since the last few days, because this chaos was going on, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were falling down, isn't it? The price of Bitcoin did actually go below the $100,000 mark, but because of President Donald Trump focusing on peace through strength, guys, looks like now there is a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, as well as the United States of America. And because of that, guys, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have drastically pumped up. And if you look at the global cryptocurrency market, right now it is at $3.39 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, guys, it is actually down by 1.01%. Now, if you look at the ETF inflows, guys, on Monday, this number was in negative, which means there was more outflows than inflows. But today, guys, this number is $659.95 million. Now, if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume since the last 24 hours, it is still below the $100 billion mark. Right now, it is at $94 billion. And since the last 24 hours, it is actually up by 6.08%. Now, unfortunately, guys, the volume of decentralized finance isn't doing that great. Today it is only at $13.29 billion, and decentralized finance, guys, as of today, is accounting for 8.07% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. But if you look at the total value locked, that is once again pumped up, and today it is at $111.66 billion. Now, according to me, guys, when you talk about decentralized finance, it is great to look at one particular matrix, that is decentralized to centralized exchange dominance, and today the percentage is at 49.20%. But look, guys, you always need to remember that a lot of centralized exchanges, they tend to use a lot of decentralized exchanges as well, and I wouldn't be surprised out of this 49.20%, maybe even 35% does actually account for centralized exchanges. Now, since the last few months, because there is so much of hype regarding tokenization, guys, I'm also looking at the real world asset tokenization, and if you look at the total value locked, irrespective of geopolitical chaos, guys, the numbers have been relatively consistent, and today it is at $12.68 billion, and this is completely in contrast to ETF inflows, isn't it? Now let's quickly run through the volume of decentralized exchanges, and as I mentioned earlier, guys, the numbers are definitely not that great. But PancakeSwap is still at number 1 with $5.55 billion, Uniswap is at number 2nd, and its 24-hour volume is $2.97 billion, Aerodrome is at number 3rd, its 24-hour volume is $555.07 million, Radium Gas is at number 4th, and its 24-hour volume is $497.62 million, Orca is at number 5th, and its 24-hour volume is $400.38 million. Now, if you look at the market cap of stablecoins, guys, few days ago it was about the $270 billion mark, and that was when there was a lot of geopolitical chaos going on, isn't it? But looks like the market cap of all stablecoins has gone down by well over 10%, and today it is down to $253.01 billion. On Monday, guys, that is on the 23rd, the market cap of stablecoins did actually pump up to $271 billion, isn't it? But look, guys, the volume of stablecoins is relatively low. But the good thing is that the prices are pumping up, isn't it? Which just means, guys, since the last 24 hours, a lot of fiat currencies are being used to directly go out and buy a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Because look, the volume of stablecoins is relatively low, but the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been pumping up. Now let me quickly run to the volume of stablecoins, because Tether USDT's market cap is at $64.70 billion, whereas so far Circle USDC is concerned it is at $10.13 billion, FDUSD is at number 3rd, and its volume is below the $5 billion mark. It is only at $4.58 billion. Now it's needless to say, guys, USDT is still dominating the stablecoin space, and their dominance is accounting for a staggering 63.13%. Now, if you look at the dominance of Bitcoin, guys, today it is at 63.16%. And as I've been saying, guys, if the prices are pumping up, then if the dominance is increasing, it is even a better sign, isn't it? You don't want the dominance to be increasing when the prices are actually going down. Now, if you look at Ethereum's dominance, guys, it is marginally pumped up, but it is only at 8.70%. But the market cap of Ethereum is still below the $300 billion mark. It is at $292 billion, whereas Bitcoin's market cap looks like it has pumped up the most, and today it is at $2.12 trillion. Now, every day in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, I tend to look at one new matrix, isn't it? And this entire week, guys, I want to look at decentralized apps. But unlike last week, guys, this week I'm looking at it in terms of dollar value. And today I'm looking at the top decentralized apps that are currently working only on Ethereum blockchain. And the number one decentralized app in Ethereum blockchain is Morph. And in terms of dollar amount, guys, it is at $3.37 billion. Now, mind you, guys, if you actually go to dapradar.com, there are different metrics you can go and look at this information. What I'm looking at is the fiat value of incoming token transfers from unique active wallets to smart contracts, because it gives you an indication as to the strength of that particular project or protocol, isn't it? Last week, guys, I only looked at the wallet interactions because I wanted to find out how many people are actually using decentralized apps. This week I want to look at it in terms of dollar amount, and it gives you some assessment as to how the project or protocol is doing, isn't it? Now the second one is Uniswap version 3, and the fiat value of incoming token transfers from unique active wallets to smart contracts is below the $2 billion mark at $1.89 billion. The third one is Maple, and in terms of dollar amount it is below the $1 billion mark. It is only at $953 million. Sky, guys, is at number 4th, and this is more connected to MakerDAO, isn't it? And what I'd really urge you guys to do is go to Sky.money, and it is essentially a rebranded version of MakerDAO. And MakerDAO guys are kind of like the OGs of the decentralized finance space. You could also say that MakerDAO was the one that actually kickstarted the whole decentralized finance movement. So Sky.money is a website to go out and look at, and as I mentioned earlier guys, in terms of dollar amount it is $687 million. Now I'm pretty much sure this dollar value is only for the last 24 hours, because if it is anything more than that, the numbers are absolutely dreadful, isn't it? Now at number 5th is Balancer, and the fiat value of incoming token transfers from unique active wallets to smart contract is at $468 million. Now let's go ahead and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, and the price of Bitcoin guys was below the $100,000 mark when there was unnecessary war between Israel and Iran and the interference of United States of America in it. But thanks to President Donald Trump and thanks to his ideology of peace to strength, looks like there is peace in the region, and only because of that guys, the prices of Bitcoin has actually pumped up to $106,572, and since the last 24 hours it is actually up by 1.20%, and since the last 7 days it is actually up by 1.75%. Now look, so far as Bitcoin mining is concerned, every 2016 block the Bitcoin mining difficulty gets adjusted, isn't it? And yesterday guys, the Bitcoin mining difficulty did actually go down, and people are saying that because President Donald Trump had an attack in Iran, a lot of the miners in Iran decided to go and shut down the operations. I really am not sure if there is any legitimacy to it, because if that would have been the case guys, the Bitcoin mining difficulty would have actually pumped up. So if you're seeing any articles where the Bitcoin mining difficulty has actually gone down because of the attack, it does not make any sense, because the mining would have been much more easier. And if that is the case, the Bitcoin mining difficulty should have actually pumped up. So a lot of misleading and incorrect information is actually circulating via LinkedIn regarding Bitcoin mining. Now so far as Ethereum is concerned guys, right now the price of Ethereum is at $2,420, and since the last 24 hours it is up by 0.01%, but since the last 7 days it is actually down by 4.20%. Ripple XRP is at $2.18, but since the last 24 hours it is down by 0.18%. And since the last 7 days, it is actually up by 1.52%. Now look guys, there's a really interesting news all the way from Arizona. And yesterday guys, on the 24th of June, the Arizona House of Representatives did actually pass a House bill that was called as 2324. And the House did actually pass with a vote of 34 in favor and 22 against it. And this particular bill guys revise a proposal that previously did actually fail in May. And here's the important thing guys, the bill establishes a framework for creating a Bitcoin and digital asset reserve fund to be managed by state treasurer and funded solely through digital assets seized during criminal investigations. This, to be honest, is such a genius move, isn't it? So look guys, let's say if notorious people are using Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies for illegal purposes, and if the government is able to confiscate it, these cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin guys now will be used to go out and buy Bitcoin. This is a genius move, isn't it? And here's the interesting thing guys, if enacted, HB 23/2024 would become Arizona's second digital asset reserve law this year, because in the month of May, 6th of May if I'm not mistaken, they did actually pass a House Bill 2749, which Governor Hobbs, who's a Democrat, did reluctantly sign. Now if you do need official information regarding this particular bill guys, it is in the show notes below, and go ahead and read through the entire bill. Or what you can do is guys, put the entire bill into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT 4 or Grok 3 to summarize it. That way our life becomes so much more easier, isn't it? Now guys, let's go ahead and discuss an interesting article that is published by Wall Street Journal. And the article actually states that big US banks like JP Morgan and Citigroup, they are actually facing backlash from Republican states, particularly Texas and Oklahoma, for allegedly discriminating against fossil fuel, as well as the gun industries. Now look guys, so far as America is concerned, these are kind of like the pillars, isn't it? And now with President Donald Trump returning into office guys, a lot of the Democratic states are actually focusing on woke ideologies as well. So look guys, this kind of selective discrimination is absolutely dangerous, and what the article actually states, now a lot of these banks, particularly JP Morgan and Citigroup, they're actually trying to lobby with Republican candidates. This is such a notorious play but expected by the banking industry, isn't it? Now the big question guys is, where does Bitcoin fit into this? Because look guys, according to me, distributed systems like Bitcoin, they don't rely on any centralized institutions or political favors in it, and there is no centralized entity as well, and Bitcoin transactions as such thus become resistant to censorship, state-level bans, or even ideological backlash. And not only Bitcoin, guys, even privacy coins like Monero or cryptocurrencies in general, they do stand out as politically neutral, censorship-resistant and financial alternative. And as I mentioned earlier as well, guys, the whole idea of creating Bitcoin by Satoshi Nakamoto was separation of money and the state, isn't it? Maybe in a couple of decades we might be in a time where politicians have absolutely no say either positive or negative in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now guys, let's go and discuss some news where Chainlink and MasterCard want to enable billions of cardholders to buy crypto directly on chain. And this particular news, guys, I did actually mention it a few months ago on the Blockchain DXB podcast, and there is a teeny tiny update to this. Because Chainlink has partnered with MasterCard to enable billions of cardholders to buy crypto directly on chain. And this marks a major leap in the so-called Web3 adoption as well, isn't it? But here's the interesting thing, guys. This particular move is now powered by Swapper Finance and supported by Zero Hash, Shift4, XSwap, as well as Uniswap for liquidity. And here's the interesting thing, guys. The system uses Chainlink's infrastructure to verify transactions and execute smart contracts securely. And I've been saying this for almost 9 months, guys. Chainlink Labs did introduce something called a CCIP, that is Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol. And according to me, guys, it just might be one of the biggest innovations, at least in the last 5 years, in the so-called cryptocurrency blockchain space. And only because of that, a lot of interoperability is possible, isn't it? And regarding this news, guys, what I really feel is MasterCard's global payment reach combined with Chainlink's tech offers a seamless as well as secure way to convert fiat into cryptocurrencies, isn't it? And it does bridge the whole traditional finance with digital asset money economy as well. Now, if you do need official information regarding this, guys, it is in the show notes below. And if you're a developer, guys, I'd really urge you guys to go and check CCIP, that is Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol. Definitely a game changer in my honest opinion. Now guys, let me go ahead and give out some update regarding VazirX Exchange. Cause look guys, VazirX Exchange, last year around the same time, I believe it was in May of 2024, they did actually suffer one of the biggest hack of roughly around $235 million, isn't it? And unfortunately guys, this particular hack did actually happen despite them having a multi-signature wallet. Now there's an update to this, guys, and VazirX Exchange has secured more time from Singapore court to go ahead and present its restructuring plan, and looks like they're gaining a critical moratorium that shields it from creditor actions. And here are some interesting things, guys. Over 93% of creditors support this plan now, which includes relocating operations to Panama under a new entity, and Zenzui Corporations, guys, will comply with Singapore's June 30 regulatory deadline. And so far as the exchange is concerned, they aim to issue on-chain IOUs, which will essentially be in the form of recovery tokens, and that will allow users to reclaim up to 75% to I believe up to 80% of the hack balances. However, guys, legal delays and uncertainties around this transaction and decentralized exchange plans continue to frustrate more than 6 million users, isn't it? So look guys, if your user is affected by it, you definitely need to go and check your communications regarding this. But at the same time, guys, you also need to remember a lot of scammers will be trying to approach you as well, isn't it? So definitely bear a lot of caution. So these were the news, guys, on the Bitcoin blockchain cryptocurrency world at a macro level. Now let's go and look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And DMCC, guys, they have signed a strategic memorandum of understanding with Aqua Index to support first water-backed digital token, and this agreement supports the launch of world's first water-backed digital token, guys, and the token is backed by verified drinking quality fresh water stored in global reservoirs. Now, this initiative introduces a new asset class, that is water as tradable, investable commodity as well. And here's the interesting thing, guys, the digital token enables investors, traders and public to trade, hold and take delivery of the water as well, and it aims to revolutionize how water is traded, valued as well as managed globally. And so far as Aqua Index is concerned, guys, they will use DMCC's global network, services as well as commodity infrastructure. But here's the important thing to remember. DMCC will not directly own or manage the token itself, but so far as this partnership is concerned, it does enhance transparency and liquidity in global water supply chains, isn't it? And so far as Aqua Index is concerned, guys, they will promote knowledge sharing on water usage, pricing as well as hedging. Now, based on the news, this initiative addresses the gap as water lacks a mature as well as regulated global market, and so far as the token is concerned, it reflects a transparent, neutral and legally coherent structure for water trading, Now, DMCC's water center is developed to make Dubai a global hub for water innovation, and the water center will host water tech companies, logistic providers, and traders as well. And Ahmad bin Suleiman, who is very active on LinkedIn, guys, has emphasized the need for value and regulate water like other resources, and so far as this token is concerned, it provides a way to bring water to distressed and scarcity hit regions. Definitely interesting news, isn't it? Now, guys, let's go and discuss some news all the way from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, guys, they have joined OECD recommendation on artificial intelligence. So let me go ahead and give out more information regarding this. Because Saudi Arabia, via Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority, has joined the OECD recommendation on artificial intelligence. And this, guys, is the first international standard for AI governance, covering both generative and general artificial intelligence. And Saudi Arabia now becomes one of top 10 non-OECD members to adopt the recommendation. And this particular move, guys, enhances Saudi Arabia's global position in responsible AI governance, isn't it? And the OECD AI recommendation promotes innovation and trust in AI, and they do that through responsible practices. Now, if I'm not mistaken, guys, Saudi Arabia previously collaborated with OECD, but this was to launch Arabic Language MENA Observatory on Responsible Artificial Intelligence. Now, regarding this collaboration, it was actually unveiled during the 3rd Global AI Summit in Riyadh. And look, Saudi Arabia now ranks 3rd globally in OECD AI Policy Observatory, right after United States and United Kingdom. And clearly, Saudi Arabia was an early adopter of UNESCO's 2021 recommendation on ethics for artificial intelligence as well as it. And Saudi Arabia completed the UNESCO AI Readiness Assessment in December of 2024. And look, Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority follows a comprehensive AI governance framework, blending ethics, regulations, as well as innovation. And the authority promotes AI research, responsible development, and strong legal framework. Now, the Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence, guys, they have issued key regulatory documents including generative AI guidelines for the public, generative AI guidelines for government entities, AI adoption framework, deepfakes guidelines, as well as personal data protection law. And Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence, guys, has accredited over 45 AI specialized companies to grow the local AI ecosystem, and they do play a key role in the United Nations high-level advisory body on artificial intelligence. And so far as Riyadh is concerned, they did host the world's largest AI consultation session for United Nations report, and that was called as Governing AI for Humanity. In Saudi Arabia, guys, it also established something called as ICARE, that is International Center for AI Research and Ethics, and this was done in Riyadh under UNESCO. And the International Center for Artificial Intelligence Research and Ethics, guys, aims to promote AI ethic research, international collaboration, and responsible governance supporting Vision 2030. So definitely positive news. And look, guys, I've been saying this almost a year now. When it comes to artificial intelligence, Saudi Arabia is definitely taking leaps and bounds, isn't it? And so far as United Arab Emirates is concerned, guys, particularly Abu Dhabi is definitely taking leaps and bounds as well. So these were some news, guys, on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB, listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have an excellent question by Mark who asks, should the seized crypto fund state reserve be returned to the original victims, or should it be kept by the state? This, to be honest, is such an important question, Mark, and initially when I read this I had the exact same thought. Now I understand where you're coming from, cause look, so far seized cryptocurrency is concerned, ideally they should be returned to the victims, isn't it? And this is exactly if you actually go to the Bitcoin reserve that President Donald Trump did actually put out. It clearly stated that whenever the government seizes any Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, initially all will be given back to the original victims once the victim is identified. But let's say if you do not identify the victim, or let's say if the transaction as such was completely illegitimate, and if there are no victims as such, only then the government has the right to go ahead and keep all of the Bitcoin. So yes, Mark, justice must prioritize restitution over enrichment. Now the classic case of Wazirex exchange, let's say if the government is able to confiscate the hacker, then I'm pretty much sure a lot of the funds will actually go back to the original victims, isn't it? And then there will be KYC, because you also need to know the legitimacy of the victim. But let's say victims are not identified. In that case, I do think that the cryptocurrencies that are seized by the state will actually go to the reserves. And that is exactly what Arizona's approach is as well, because you're using seized cryptocurrency to build Bitcoin and digital asset reserve fund. And that can create a long-term financial resilience without raising taxes, isn't it? So there are benefits that the government does actually go ahead and keep a lot of these funds, only if they are not able to identify the victims. And as I mentioned earlier as well, Mark, let's say if the transaction itself are 100% illegitimate, let's say if someone is using Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies to hire a hitman, there are no victims in that case, isn't it? So in that case, I do think that the state has the right to go ahead and keep the funds for themselves as well. But definitely a great question. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything. See some blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we have Blockchain DXB podcast, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the process. We also look at geopolitical news. We also look at macro level news in the world of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and even artificial intelligence. And then, guys, we look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East, from the Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, Web3, and even artificial intelligence world. We also look at latest technological advancements. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.